Have you ever stopped to think that your cockatiel might be trying to tell you, "I trust you," every single day, and you just don't notice? Well, most owners live alongside these incredible little birds without ever decoding the subtlest and most beautiful signals they offer. And the worst part, many people spend years with a cockatiel at home believing it's just an ordinary pet, without understanding the emotional depth behind that curious beak and those raised feathers. Unlike dogs, which jump, bark and lick your face to show affection, or humans who verbalize feelings with words, cockatiels have their own language, much more discreet, much quieter. And that's exactly why these signs go unnoticed. Behaviors that seem merely curious, or even annoying to those who don't understand them, actually hide deep displays of trust, of bond, of genuine affection. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover could completely change the way you see your cockatiel. Has this ever happened to you? That moment when it grinds its beak softly while perched on your shoulder, or when it lowers its head and waits for you to scratch it, or even when it imitates a sound you made without even realizing it was being watched. Well, these small gestures, which many people ignore or don't even notice, are actually incredibly rich forms of communication. Cockatiels, like many other pet birds, developed over thousands of years of living alongside humans an enormous sensitivity to observe, learn, and react to the environment around them. And when that environment includes you, the owner, that sensitivity turns into a bond. What you're about to discover might surprise you. There's a real chance your cockatiel has already been showing trust for weeks, maybe even months, without you having noticed it clearly. Small details in behavior, in body posture, in the way it looks at you, in the tone of its calls, all of this makes up a true emotional dictionary that most owners never learned to read. And it's not a lack of love or attention, it's simply a lack of information about how these animals really communicate. Understanding a cockatiel's body language, recognizing signs of bonding, and correctly interpreting behaviors of trust can completely transform the relationship between owner and bird. That's because, by noticing these signs, you start responding more appropriately, further strengthening that emotional bond that often already exists but remains invisible to those who don't know what to look for. And the most interesting part is that once you learn to identify these signs, it's almost impossible to stop noticing them, because they're everywhere, in everyday life, in the small interactions that seem trivial but carry enormous meaning. Throughout this content, you'll learn about the most revealing behaviors that indicate your cockatiel deeply trusts you, including some signs that seem contradictory at first glance, but are actually clear proof of attachment and emotional security. Get ready, because from now on you'll look at your cockatiel with different eyes, and you might realize it was always trying to communicate, just waiting for you to understand the message. And before we continue, I need to take a quick pause here with you, because there's something too sincere for me to let pass. If you've made it this far and felt like something clicked, remembered your cockatiel doing one of these gestures, or even got emotional thinking about how many times it may have tried to communicate with you without you noticing, leave a comment below about what touched you the most so far. Seriously, I read every comment, and it's amazing how every owner has a different story, a different detail that went unnoticed until this moment. Sharing this isn't just about venting, it's about helping other people reading the comments identify with it too, and maybe notice something they'd never noticed in their own birds. And look, if this topic is resonating with you, if you feel like it could change the way you see your cockatiel, go ahead and hit like right now, even before you keep watching. It might seem like a small gesture, but it's exactly this kind of action that shows the algorithm this content is relevant, that it needs to reach more people who also have a cockatiel at home and have never had access to this information. Every like is a vote of confidence. It's you saying, "This content is worth it." Put it in front of more people. And if you want to go further, hit the bell, the hype button, because this channel will keep bringing content like this, in-depth, sincere, made for people who truly love these little animals and want to understand every detail of their behavior. When you turn on notifications, you make sure you won't miss the next video, the next hidden sign, the next discovery that might completely change the way you care for your cockatiel every day. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, now's the time. Subscribing is more than just a click, it's you saying you want to keep being part of this community of owners who genuinely want to understand their pets, who aren't satisfied with shallow or generic answers. and who value this kind of content that brings together science, observation, and affection. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this kind of content. It's what allows us to keep bringing information that really makes a difference in the life of anyone who has a cockatiel at home. Now, with a lighter heart and knowing you're part of this community, let's keep going, because the next signs I'm going to show you are even more surprising, and some of them you probably never imagined could mean so much. Sign number 1. It seeks you out even when it doesn't need anything. Now pay attention to this, because this is where it all starts to make sense. Notice carefully what happens when there's no food bowl in hand, when there's no treat, when there's absolutely no practical reason involved. Even so, it flies to you. It follows you around the house from room to room just to stay close. It chooses to be exactly where you are, even though there are perches, corners, and other comfortable spots available throughout the whole house. This isn't dependency. This is choice. And choice in the animal world carries enormous emotional weight. In nature, staying close to someone means safety. It means protection from predators. It means being part of a trustworthy group. When a cockatiel decides to stay near you, it's activating, without even knowing it, an ancestral survival logic and choosing you as part of it. This completely changes the reading of this behavior. It's not neediness, it's not fussiness. It's a hidden truth about the bond that already exists between you two. If it prefers being near you, even without food, without stimulation, without any apparent reason, that says a lot about the transformation this relationship of trust has already undergone. Comment, she chooses to stay close. Sign number 2, it talks to you in a different way. Pay attention to the sounds it makes when it's alone with you, because this is where one of the most fascinating parts of this journey lives. Those soft whistles, those low, almost whispered sounds, those little vocalizations it lets out when you enter the room or start talking to it. This isn't random. This is real communication. In nature, within a flock, cockatiels use constant vocalizations to maintain social contact, to know where each member of the group is, to reinforce that they're still together even without direct visual contact. When it does this with you, it's treating you as part of its flock. It's trying to maintain that connection, that presence, that I know you're there, and that reassures me. And here comes an interesting revelation. Many cockatiels develop true exclusive conversations with their owners, a repertoire of sounds it doesn't repeat with anyone else, created especially for that relationship. This is the impact of a companionship that builds trust every day. It's proof that there's a private language between you two, built behind the scenes of everyday life, without fanfare, without rush. If your cockatiel has ever answered you, comment, she talks to me. Sign number 3, it completely lowers its guard around you. Now comes a sign that carries enormous emotional weight, because it involves something that in nature would simply be unthinkable. Notice when it sleeps near you, when it closes its eyes by your side, when it relaxes its feathers until it looks like a fluffy little ball, when it dozes off leaning on your shoulder, or when it lowers its head asking for affection, exposed, surrendered without any resistance. This is much deeper than it seems. Birds are extremely vulnerable when they truly relax. In nature, closing your eyes, lowering your guard, and entering a deep sleep state is one of the most dangerous moments that exist, because it's exactly when a predator could attack without any chance of defense. That's why no bird relaxes like that near just anything or just anyone. If it does this by your side, it's because in its mindset, you stopped being a potential threat and became synonymous with absolute safety. It's a hidden truth that goes unnoticed by many owners. This moment of total surrender is one of the greatest proofs of trust an animal can offer. A silent decision that with you it can allow itself to be vulnerable. And look, this journey of signs still holds revelations that will surprise you even more. Sign number 4 and number 5, the greatest proofs of love that almost no one recognizes now. Get your heart ready, because these two signs together form one of the most surprising parts of this whole journey. Sign number 4, it imitates you. Notice if it reproduces sounds you make, if it copies your whistles, if it imitates small movements, or even falls into your routine, always showing up at the same time you usually do a certain thing. Imitation in the animal world isn't play, it's a true form of social bonding. Whoever imitates is paying close attention, is trying to get closer, is saying, in its own way, I want to be part of this. Sign number 5. It shows jealousy, and now comes the strongest sign of all. Notice if it interrupts when you're on your phone, if it gets in front of the computer screen, if it demands your attention right in the middle of a conversation with someone else. Many people interpret this as fussiness, tantrums, annoying behavior, but this is a hidden truth that completely changes the way of thinking about it. This is usually a reflection of a strong emotional bond, a way of it saying that your attention matters, that it misses being at the center of that connection when it senses it's being competed for by something else. And here, the shift in how we see these behaviors becomes even clearer, because all of this is the behind the scenes of a relationship much deeper than it seems. What your cockatiel would want you to understand. Now pay attention to this, because this is where everything we've seen so far starts to connect. It seeks you out, even without needing anything. It talks to you in a way it doesn't talk to anyone else. It lowers its guard and surrenders to sleep by your side. It imitates your sounds and gestures. It feels jealous when your attention is elsewhere. Each of these signs, on its own, would already say a lot. Together, they tell a whole story about trust, and this is the hidden truth behind all of it. Love in birds isn't born ready-made, it's built. Trust takes time. It requires time, presence, patience, repetition. Every small display you learn to recognize today actually represents months of quiet companionship, of mutual observation, of a journey that kept transforming day after day without fanfare, behind the scenes of your everyday routine together. Maybe your cockatiel can never say "I love you" in words. It doesn't have that tool. Expressing itself that way isn't part of its mindset. But every day, in its own way, with a whistle, with a look of trusting closed eyes, with a flight to your shoulder, it finds ways to show it. And maybe the biggest impact of all of this is realizing that you were already being loved this whole time. You just didn't know how to see it. If you've made it this far, that already says a lot about how much you truly care about your cockatiel. And look, if after all this something changed in the way you see it, comment below. My cockatiel trusts me, because each behavior can have a different meaning, and I love reading what each owner notices as unique in their own bird. If you haven't liked this video yet, do it right now, because every like helps more people avoid silent mistakes and creates a real impact on the lives of birds who depend entirely on the people who care for them. It's a simple gesture that carries a lot of weight, and if you want to keep discovering signs, behaviors, and messages that most people ignore every day, subscribe to the channel. This journey of truly understanding what goes on in your cockatiel's mind doesn't stop here, and it'll be well worth following what comes next. There's a video right here next to this one that complements this topic. Click it and keep going with me over there.